Hello, I'm Mariana with Ultra Live Television, and we are here at Digital Hollywood Spring in Santa Monica, California, with Daniel Schechter, who is the managing partner for media and entertainment practice for LEK Consulting. How are you doing, Dan?
Doing great.
Dan is the person I always go to for all the trends in media, entertainment, and digital media. So tell us some of the main sweeping trends that you're seeing.
Probably the most exciting is the increase in digital media consumption that happens when people buy a device like the Kindle or the iPad. We just did a recent survey that showed that when you buy one of these devices, you increase your consumption, whether it's books, magazines, or newspapers, by 30 to 50%. And so this is going to be a real shot in the arm for mature businesses like the book industry, which have been, frankly, low growth. And they're going to see a big pop as people buy these. It's a little bit like what happened when DVD players were put out there. There was the sleepy VHS business that was invigorated by the introduction of devices, but also the associated content buys. So it's going to be a real boon. Now, there's some issues about pricing that are being worked out right now, the fighting between Amazon and Kindle about the pricing model, but it looks like it's going to be okay pricing. But people really don't realize is it's just going to be a surge in content. And these people that are buying these things have money. The iPad, iPhone, Kindle demographic is well heeled. They're able to buy stuff. They are buying stuff in volume. And you really don't need to sell that many iPads and that many Kindles to have a significant uplift on the industry. So I think that's the big news of this week.
What kind of content consumption will it be? Will they consume a lot more of the traditional video libraries, or do you think there will be new formats in entertainment?
It's both. It's going to start with the traditional, so that we're just seeing with Kindle already, a person who buys a Kindle is just buying 30%, 50% more books. And the same thing is happening in both magazines and newspapers. And that happens because of three reasons. One, the price point is good. For magazines and newspapers, that is because they like it better. That is a better way to organize information. Maybe not my age group, but maybe a bit of a younger age group just doesn't like paper and likes electronic media. Interestingly, for books, it's a little bit different. One of the main reasons for people buying books is people say, I'm finding more books are being published that are interesting. Now, that's a bit of a head scratcher because same old books are being published. What's happening is that people are finding more interesting books because they're doing these impulse buys, because my friend Mariana gives me a call and says, you got to check out this book, and I just download it immediately on my Kindle. So there's powerful reasons that are just powering traditional media. Now, this is traditional media that is being poured over to the Kindle and a little bit on the iPad is generation 1.0 transform or product, if you will. It's just taking a print dump of what exists. Now, people discussing here today are discussing new forms of media that are just being developed today. So I can't say there's going to be a huge growth tomorrow in that. It's going to be first in the traditional, but there's going to be new stuff. So instead of just having a print dump of Vogue, you're going to have a Vogue app that comes down that looks a little bit more like Access Hollywood, that has the March Fashion Week in New York and shows video, and it has talking heads, and it has ads, and it has other things in it, but it isn't quite what you have today, and it's going to be a lot more exciting, and they're going to charge a little bit more for it because it's video and it's a little bit more sexy, and so that's coming. But today, the big growth in the industry is going to come from the traditional product that's being moved across.
So Akamai published a report recently that says that only about 1% of all broadband video has been penetrated, i.e. used to date. What do you think about that assessment?
I believe it. There's a huge amount of stuff out there, and that's why this issue of top 10 lists has become so important, that you look at any site out there, there's just so much that's out there that exists, and people need navigation tools to find it. So promotion, people, trusted advisors, etc. So a lot of issues to actually get access to all the good content out there. And that's frankly why professional content isn't going to go away, because it frankly is better than user-generated content. It's a signatory of certain quality, and it's also better indexed, etc. So professional content is here to stay. And you look at sites like Funny or Die, which does broadband video. It was founded as a user-generated site, but they found that the semi-pro or professional stuff was so much better and did so much better, they've essentially redone themselves around professional content. There's still a lot of user-generated content, but the thing that people want to see is Will Ferrell and the funny stuff he and his guys produce. So that's still what people are watching.
So you get hired by large studios and media companies to give them strategic advice on what to do and how to think about the space 1 year, 5 years, maybe even 10 years into the future. Is that even possible right now?
Yes, and the part of the thing here now is anybody who tells you they know exactly what's going to happen 5 years from now, that they're fools, so stay away from them. But what you can show is here's a couple ways things can develop, and for a big studio, a big entertainment conglomerate, you want to have a reliable future regardless of the various different ways you can develop. And so the trick here is to figure out low-cost ways to succeed no matter which way the industry actually evolves. And so, for example, we're saying to book publishers, you don't have to sell that many Kindles to cover the enthusiast book reader, the people who read 30 to 50 books a year. There's not that many of them, and you need to be ready for what happens if those people port over to the Kindle. Similarly, for a big studio, they need to think about their streaming as well as their download strategy to all these new mobile devices. And different people will say streaming, different people will say download, but whichever way it works out, you need to have a cost-effective way to go forward.
Fascinating stuff. I would like to ask you at least a dozen more questions, but I really appreciate you sharing these insights with our audience.
Thank you very much.